Reality of Remote Work and Work-Life Balance with Ashley Haass.
Hi, I'm Ashley Haass. I am the founder of The Daily Brief. I have a federal consulting management firm where I help small businesses do business with the government. I'm lucky enough to work alongside Echo 3 Foundation, which is how I became involved with JETC. And I'm a GovCon advocate. I have a passion for travel, learning, and I also have an 8-year-old who gave me the gift that I'm most proud of, and that's being his mom. So if I'm not with him, you'll find me on a plane working and probably reading something interesting. I've been working remotely for about a year now. I started fully working remotely when I started my own business. What I love about remote work is, of course, the flexibility of being able to have clients in any geographical location, the ability to make my own schedule, to travel, tailor that schedule around my child, not having the overhead of an office space. Of course, there's some not so wonderful things as well. And I know some of our panelists have touched on these, but the obvious things, a little less human interaction, monotony that can occur as far as working and living in the same space, less boundaries when you're on and off the clock, distractions within the home, and so forth. So none of these things, just like Caroline said, are not easily overcome. So I just want to talk briefly about some key things that have really worked for me as I've navigated the working environment from home in order to find the so-called balance, right, of remote work life. So distractibility equals productivity, and that's my number one takeaway with working from home. How distractible you are directly determines your productivity. So your focus or your lack thereof is really what's going to make remote work successful for you. And these are the things that help me really remain truly focused and minimize my distractions. So to have the ultimate productivity environment is my number one, because even though I think a lot of people maybe don't think about it too much because they're just trying to make a space that's convenient for them in the home or wherever they can find the space. And whether it's big or small, whether you have a door, whether it's open, it doesn't matter. You just make it nice. Make it a place that's lovely to sit, that you enjoy. Have nice decor.
So to really understand productivity, we'd like to go ahead and click open one more poll. I think this might be the last one of our session. But understanding what leads to best productivity and focus for you, is it having background noise? Does it have to be completely quiet? If you'll go ahead and participate in our poll real quickly, we'll take another 15 seconds. Let us know, is it noise canceling headphones all the way? Need to have some noise in the background, music, podcasts, just anything but pure silence, or can you really just go with the flow? And it looks like we still have results coming in, but adaptability is by far leading the way at about 55%. And then we are closed at 20% noise canceling headphones all the way, shortly behind that at 18%. Always have to have something in the background. I personally fall into that category, and anything but silence at 7%. And for those of you who need options for how to make all those things happen, Ashley has the advice for getting you there.
Also for Ashley, it says, can Ashley talk more on the time tracking platforms?
Yes, I can. So that's my number one key to working remotely. Using a time tracking platform is essential. It's going to be essential for seeing where you're spending your time, your productivity, also, billable hours, of course, and you can put them on your phone so you can work and set them on your phone whenever, anytime you're on and off, when you're traveling, anywhere you go, especially if you're someone who struggles with losing track of time, like someone's, the whole question asked, when people just get lost in their work. I really like this capability because it also helps create time efficiencies. So my personal favorite is Clockify. That's what I use in my business. I have experience with Hubstaff as well. I know Cavalry liked to use that platform as well. There's so many great time trackers out there. They'll generate reports for you weekly, monthly. They can track you by the second if you bill by the minutes. These are essential. And when you're sitting in front of your computer, you have the clock on, you're focused, and when the clock is running, you're so much more inclined to continue working on a project rather than getting sucked into some rabbit trail of a Google ad that pops up and distracts you, So that's always good to be cognizant of what you're working on, as well as, you do it on a per project basis. That's how I structure mine. And you can build in personal stuff as well. Like if you're spending too much time on emails, or if you're building your own company and you're working on your website, I track that time too. And I see how much I'm putting into my website that I'm not being paid for. And it really helps to create those efficiencies and see, okay, I need to spend more time doing this, less time doing that. And so on and so forth. But anyway, time tracking platforms are a must if you're working remotely, that's for sure. So there's plenty. If you do a quick Google search, you can find what works for you. If you want something free, if you want something paid, if you have a whole team, if you're working by yourself, so many options out there, but that's essential for sure. I will go on and talk about a couple other of my points here. My other favorite tip that has really helped with my focus during working from home or working from anywhere, and it's super simple time hack, but it's putting different alert tones on each client, what their email, their text, and their personal numbers, and their phone. Everybody has a specific ringtone or text tone, and that's for my personal contacts as well. So I know when it's my child, I know if it's my mother, if I'm working on a project and client XYZ is calling me because I hear, or their email's pinging, I don't need to pay attention to it if there's not a hard deadline, because I want to finish what I'm working on. Throughout the course of the day, as Lori mentioned, we're constantly getting pinged all day. And if you look at every alert at your phone throughout the day, it's a huge time suck. It's a huge productivity killer. So I like to have different alert tones for every single client and contact in my phone. Everybody doesn't have to be different. All your personal can be one tone, right? And then all of your work, like I said, several clients, I have several different tones. I know when I hear that tone, that's so-and-so. So anyway, I like to do that in order to continue focusing on my projects that I'm working on rather than that constant distraction of the phone, because eliminating distractions, again, distractibility, your level of distractibility equals your level of productivity. So that's another tip and trick that I've learned that I implement for myself, as well as putting everything on a calendar. It seems rigid and regimented, but it works. It works, and it's going to give you your best value for your time, and your family is going to thank you for it too. And even when a client randomly says, hey, do you have 15 minutes to chat at 2:00? Yep, put it on my calendar. If it wasn't a solid meeting, it's on the calendar. Then it's straight, you track it, but also, you're specifically designating these blocks of time and it doesn't get away from you. You're not spending too much time on one thing and, then on to the next appointment. And so keeping everything in a calendar, and sometimes it works when you schedule out, you add in your exercise time, you add in your break time, structure your day, because it does become very fluid when you're at home. And I am a huge fan of having everything on the calendar. So those are some of the things that have really helped me. Another time suck is food and drink, which it's essential, right? We have to drink and eat during the day. Taking the time to be on your phone doing an Uber Eats delivery, or driving to get takeout, driving to the grocery store. These are huge time sucks again. And so I like to even plan out my day, just like all my appointments are in my calendar. My meals are planned for the day. Everything's ready to go in the fridge, in the pantry, ready to grab. I always have something nearby, so you don't get like low blood sugar and you need a quick pick me up. Always a good espresso or coffee machine is a must in the house. Treat yourself. You got to get through the afternoon lull. You will get there, whether you're working from home or traveling or what have you. You need to have caffeine and sugar, in my opinion. It keeps you going through the day, and you get to treat yourself. You can say, okay, after my 4:30 p.m. call, I'm having a piece of chocolate, and it kind of re-energizes you. But have it prepared, have it ready to go, because you don't want to have these time sucks. And it all comes back to productivity. So
I think Ashley's connection dropped.
Yeah, I can jump in until Ashley gets back.
Sure, that'd be great. Thank you, Lindsay.
Okay, so depending on what your answer was to the poll. If you're somebody who needs that background or you need some silence to get your work done, it definitely pays to invest in good equipment. And hopefully that's something you can talk to your employer about, going back to whether they're supportive of work from home or not work from home. Don't be afraid to ask for them to provide you some of that equipment that you need to get the job done. If you have your own business or you work, self-employed, obviously that might be something you want to invest in. Also think about, do you have a door that closes fully? Does it have a lock on it? What kind of background noise can you have, if any? Do you have white noise? Do you have a Alexa that can play kind of like classical music? That's usually what I go to, because I find if it's music with words that I can easily get distracted. I don't know about Carolyn and her hip hop. Maybe she can, focus through it all, but I need something that's a little bit more, a little bit less wordy. And also, you don't think about this when you're at home all the time. You definitely notice it in an office environment when there's strong smells or something smells a certain way, or you have a coworker who wears really heavy perfume. But obviously you can do a lot with your home office if it means, lavender and eucalyptus and something soothing to try to make it a little bit more comfortable. But I also just like trying to create the space to be a little bit different from the rest of the house so that it feels separate, even though it's still in your house, that it still feels like your workspace. And that helps a little bit with that mental separation. So Colleen, do you want to go to the Q&A and we can do a couple of questions?
Our first question is from Bob Bevins, who would like to know, will working from home or normally remotely result in a major change to businesses in ways to measure performance? I'd like to direct this toward Carolyn.
Hey, Bob. Thanks for the question. I feel like just from my experience working from home, my productivity actually increased tremendously. I don't know if it was due to just the lack of kind of office distractions and people popping in and that kind of stuff. But my experience has been that I can get a lot more done in the time that I have. Or I could do the same amount of work in a lot less time, which gives me an opportunity to focus on other things.
Thank you for watching. If you are wondering what you can do to help the Echo 3 Foundation further our cause to educate, empower, and employ military spouses and veterans, keep watching our videos and subscribe. 100% of the monetization we get from YouTube goes right back to the Echo 3 Foundation, helping us to create more content for you.